I've covered for you long enough. I might sound a little rough. I'm wearing orange now and so you've Scott, you get this and now Scott. Now I know why. Now I know why. Now I know why. It was you, Scott, you, and now I know why. I asked you where your dad was. Where was Big Daddy? You got so angry when I went to feed the baby goat. Now Scott, now I know why. Now I know why. Now I know why. It was you, Scott, you, and now I know why.
Get up.
Where your dad was. Where was Big Daddy? You got so angry when I went to feed the baby goat. Now Scott, now I know why. Now I know why. Now I know why. It was you, Scott, you, and now I know why. I am hella mad and burning with rage, Scott, and now I know why.
When she was upset and scared easily, she's talking about, she said, my response
I am hella mad and burning with rage, Scott, and now I know why. Now I know why. Now I know why. It was you, Scott, you, and now I know why. Now I know why. It was you, Scott, you, and now I know why. I am hella mad and burning with rage, Scott, and now I know why.
Boom. Yeah, I am hella mad and burning with rage, Scott, and now I know why. And if we get up to our goal today of 5 super chats or 5 gifted memberships worth 5 super chats, whatever happens, or some coffees or something, I will show you my crow impression. Yes, I do an excellent crow impression indeed. Please, please give generously to the Hella, Mad, Sad, and Poor Fund. I'm super poor. I'm so poor, guys. Yes, if you appreciate what we do on this channel. Dear. Yeah, I'm in that kind of mood today. I'm in that kind of mood. Alrighty. Anyway, today we've skipped ahead a little bit because the sexy Rusty, we're going to get straight in there and we're going to, as he does, Rusty got straight in there, and we're going to hear from Rusty because apparently Rusty was the nail in the coffin for Melody and her innocence in more ways than one. Yes, he was. Yeah. So, yeah, apparently here's the jail calls between those two, their love. That did it for at least the juror, who was an idiot. Maybe some other jurors as well. Justin seems to think so as well in chat. Hey, Justin. Thank Mavka for these hella. He did me a hug favor today. Did you get a man hug from Mavka? Did you get a man hug? That's gay. Good for you. I won't judge you. I won't judge you. Oh, Scott! It was you, Scott. You gifted 5 memberships. See, begging does help. Begging helps. See, Dali, hang on. Dali, look, I begged and it worked.
Really?
Yeah.
So you did the steel toe method.
Yeah, pretty much.
There is a method to his madness, apparently.
Yep.
Who knew? Another win for the
I
title.
just said I'm really fucking poor, and please help a poor sad Aussie who's lost her headphones,
Aw,
and
there they are.
maybe Scott just really wants to see my crow impression.
That could be.
Maybe that's it. Thank you, Scott. It was you, Scott, you. And now I know why. Thank you. Yes, poor Hella. Poor Hella. Evie's been MIA. Hi, Evie. Oh, you were here the other day. You were here the other day. But thank you for being here too, Evie. Hello, how are you? Oh, you got to drive? That's okay. And hello to Effie too. It's his fault. Hey, Rachel. Hello. Hella talk. Well, no, I've told you before, Half Irish. I need 1,000 gifted memberships for Hella Talk, and I've taken away Hella Mad. I've taken away the mad from my name because I don't want people to think I'm one of those angry narcissists. I'm not mad all the time, although it was kind of fun being Hella Mad for a while. But I have got Hella in my name now. It used to just be excited utterance, so I've got Hella in my name now. Yeah. Hey, Mavcar. Then you become Hella Talk. No. Do you want to pay for 1,000 gifted memberships? Off you go, Mavcar. Off you go. You woke up late and Hella was late? No. No. Where's my song? Well, I gave it to you. We were just chitty-chatting about something in the background. It wasn't my fault. It was Ilya's fault. If we've forgotten why Ilya's called Ilya, well, this is
My
why.
name is Ilya.
Yeah. And also, do you remember, guys, do you remember what actually led to that? Because I should have played this yesterday, but we were in the wrong studio, so I couldn't play
That's
it.
the nature of my mind.
That wasn't it.
Close enough.
I'm in a silly mood today. I'm in a silly mood.
There.
Anyway, yes. So you're just a narcissist. Narcissist.
I know.
Hey, Kasha, how are you? Oh my god, that fucking guy. Alright, I watched a bit of his testimony yesterday. I was trying to find where the jail calls were in his testimony. He talks for a long time. I couldn't, like, I found the jail calls, but I found them, like, in one of the little clips that Court TV does, and I still haven't worked out, like, where in the testimony it is. So we're just going to watch the whole thing, and we'll do it in bits, because God knows, we're going to have to watch it all anyway. I just got to say, this dude's 72, and he's a stallion. Like, he's
sexual stallion.
He is a sexual stallion. Like, he's one of those dudes that would have been, like, he would have been shagging Blanche and Dorothy and what's her name?
You know, there'd
Rose.
be a communal STD between them.
There would
and
be.
Just...
He would be the golden girl, like, stud. He would.
Golden girl, burning boy.
Yeah, he'd be like, they'd all just be so hot flushing over him. Hey Sasha, I'm good. How are you? Yeah, photogenic memory. Yeah, we miss that dude. We can find all the jail calls on YouTube. Yeah, but we want to know the ones that made the jury go, "Oh, she's guilty. She's so guilty." All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it, guys. Yeah. Okay. For a 72-year-old man, he's pretty good looking, I gotta say, and for a white man.
Rawr.
Rawr.
I'm dyeing my hair.
Look at him. Check
Silver.
him out. He's up there. Woohoo, silver flocks. It is sped up. They're not walking that fast. Look at Manlet. He's so small. He's like, I wish I could be as much of a stallion as you. Look at him towering over him.
What are you saying, son? I can't hear you. Speak up.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from the evidence you about to present this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Go ahead, have a seat.
Look at
Mr. Barton,
I'm sorry, who said that?
Can you hear me? Yes. It's working?
Yes.
I will try to keep this microphone as close as I
Look
can.
at his hair. His hair's perfect. He's got so much hair. Like, he hasn't lost a hair his entire life. Like, look at it.
Maybe his hair plugs.
I think so. Like, it's too thick.
That is true. His barber probably does have to charge him double for a haircut. It's so thick.
Every dude in the whole place is just like, seriously, you're 72 and you've got that much hair? Fuck you.
State your full name for the record, please.
Roy Henry Barton Jr.
All right, Mr. Barton, you're going to have to speak up louder. You have a very soft voice. We can't hear you. So if you'll do me a favor, try to speak to
Oh,
that back
I've
wall.
got a soft
Roy
voice.
Henry Barton Jr.
Thank you, sir. Do you go by Rusty?
I do.
How old are you today?
71.
What is your
71.
educational background?
Wish he was 60.
2 years college.
And what did you study there?
Business administration.
Where did you go to school?
Like,
Monmouth State Community College.
Where's that located?
In between Tullahoma, Tennessee and Lynchburg, Tennessee.
After you did that, what type of work did you get in? I believe, are you in sales?
I am, yes, but when I started, I was the bookkeeper for the dealership.
How long have you been doing sales?
Over 52 years.
In the 52 years that you've been doing sales, what type of things do you sell?
Construction equipment, bulldozers.
myself.
Heavy machinery?
Yes.
If you would, just tell the jury, when you, as part of your job as a salesman, do you have a route? What do you do? Just kind of inform them of what your everyday job is like as a salesman.
I have a designated territory, 11 counties in central middle Tennessee.
I mark my
the core of them, which is
territory
about
every
5
day.
I've covered the entire time. The rest of the outlying counties from the core has been, it changes as they change territories and salespeople and stuff like that.
Is this inside sales or outside sales?
Outside sales.
So these are, do you have to cold call? Do you find your own clients, or how does that work?
Well, since I've been doing it so long, I do very little cold calling, but as new businesses start up, especially nowadays with landscaping.
Is it John Deere? What type of things do you sell?
John Deere.
Do you sell mainly like bulldozers, heavy machinery to construction companies or to farms, or what type of businesses do you deal with mostly?
All cities, counties, utility districts, farmers do buy quite a bit because I have all of my territory is very rural, so I don't have any large contractors. The guys that do the big state jobs for the most part.
Are you from the city or from the country?
I live in Tullahoma, so
Well, tell us about that. What size of a city or town is that?
Tullahoma is about 18,000 people, and I was born
Mel-
there.
Your whole life been there?
I'm getting the
Do you have a lot of relatives
vapors.
Yes,
A lot of friends?
yes,
Is it a place that you consider close to your heart?
it is my heart. My daughters live there. It's home.
Like, and I'm not going to ask your daughters' names, but you have 2 adult daughters, is that right?
Correct.
And they're your joy?
Are they single?
Are they your joy? You love your daughters?
Oh, absolutely.
Asking for a man.
Grandkids?
4.
Now, as a salesman, tell the jury, if you would, are you an extroverted person or an introverted person?
Oh.
Do you like to talk?
No,
But as a salesperson, I guess you have to do a lot of talking, is that right?
no, you do a lot of listening.
Listening? And when you interact with other people, is it
What you
important
should
to
do as an
listen to what
attorney,
they need?
sir.
Correct.
Is it important to listen to what their concerns are?
Yes,
Is it important to take details?
they generally
Satisfy them
They'll tell you how they
sexually.
feel about things?
tell you. Yes, I mean they know as much about my equipment as I do, so they tell me what.
Well,
Did
they
you-
know as much about my
Is it,
equipment.
Is it one that you actually have policies and you have forms and you have computer and things that you have to do when you're doing your sales?
Oh yes.
What type of tools do you use to do your job?
Well, I have my company.
Well, it
computer,
depends
and
if I really
with
want to
it's
close
provided
that sale,
all the
sir.
Specifications, for equipment. Most everything now there's no hard copies for literature. I mean, you just go on the internet and look up John Deere.
There's
Like
a
any-
very hard
Do
equipment
you
I got for you.
templates or forms on the computer that you use for quotes and stuff like that?
Yes,
Do you have to pay attention to detail on that?
I do, but I generally get somebody in the office to do that for me now. I don't keep up with the computer stuff that much.
I call
How heavy
that
is
peasant
the
work.
sales when it comes to dealing with numbers and crunching numbers and things like that?
I don't understand what that question means.
Do you have to figure out how much things cost and how much percentage and anything, do any math in your job?
I mean, that's the way
dummy.
that it's done, but in the last several years, I have a sales manager that does that with this newer company. The sales manager does it for me because they've changed systems again, and I just haven't caught on to the new operating system.
When it comes to doing public speaking, do you like to do that?
Not particularly,
Do you like to have confrontational settings?
not at all.
Are you more comfortable in a different type of atmosphere when talking with people?
No.
Are you comfortable at all talking with people?
Oh yes, yeah,
Do you like being a salesperson?
I love it.
And could you see yourself doing any other type of work, or is sales just what you do?
Is Manlet like?
Well, considering I've been doing it for 52 years, I think that's.
Is
yes,
Manlet
sales is
applying
what I
for a
do.
Are you
job
successful
or
at it?
I must be.
doing a direct
Is that yes, you are?
examination
Yes,
here?
I are. Yes, I am.
I'm from South Carolina, so I sometimes think things differently too.
Oh Jesus Christ!
You agree though that you do?
We're gonna
talk for a
crack out the
living?
beers in a minute.
Yes.
South
When you're
Carolina.
a salesperson, is it fair to say that you have an objective when you're meeting with people?
Wait, pause.
Yes.
Wait,
Want to make the sale.
Pause.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't in the Murdaugh trial, didn't the defense try to say that the shooter had to have been like 5 feet tall to make
Yes.
sense with the projections. He
Yes.
did it.
He did it. Yep. Absolutely. Also, are they subtly Jesse Raphael glasses?
His
Hang
glasses
on.
have just annoyed me the entire time.
Oh, they're so huge for like maybe he just can't get near to fit his head.
I don't know. Maybe the dwarfism has messed up his eyes, and
Maybe.
it's like Hubble
You have to be
telescope.
persuasive.
I'm not a pushy salesman. One of the pluses of doing this so long is people know me, they come to me, so I don't have to go out and say, mine's better than theirs and that kind of stuff. It's different than if you were a
Sean, hey.
30-year-old person out getting new into the sales and none of the customers know you.
So in some ways, you're either persuasive in a good sense or in a bad sense. Would that be true in your job?
I would assume, yes.
But you're trying to get someone to make a decision. Is that right?
Yes.
You understand today that when you are answering the questions, the only thing I'm asking you, the decision I need you to help the jury make, is to get you the truth.
Correct.
Can you
That's
tell
all
me
I'm
how
asking.
I
You
can
understand that?
convince this jury?
I'm not asking you to make a case against anybody or anything
I'm bad
else.
at my
We
job.
agree that your job is to tell us the truth.
Correct.
The whole truth.
And nothing but.
For God's sake.
All right, let's go back to-
Objection.
you're
Can you
from
just get on with it?
Alabama. Excuse me, Tennessee. I apologize. From Tennessee.
Can you give me some pointers to
I'm
date the
Tennessee.
defendant?
And you are a
There's a
Tennessee.
big difference.
That's right. And you are a Tennessee fan. Is that right?
I am.
And orange is your color. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And how many in your small town? How many people know your family?
A good number. I'm amazed at times at how many people are there that I do not know. But again, because we have an Air Force base, there's a lot of people that come and go.
And your grandfather was well known in the community.
Correct.
Was he involved in law enforcement?
He was.
Tell the jury about that, please.
All of my young life, childhood life, up to my probably 20s, my grandfather was either the chief of police in Tullahoma or the sheriff of Coffee County, which Tullahoma's in Coffee County.
Do you have respect for law enforcement?
Very much so.
Do you understand that they have a hard job to do some days,
I do that.
even when they're investigating a former lover for murder?
I do.
Now, if I
Jesus
asked you if you
Christ,
were a
dude.
fan of Detective Hayes and Detective Pope, which one would you be less of a fan of? Again, honesty is what I'm after.
What?
Who would I be less a fan of?
Yes.
Sergeant Pope.
If I asked you to say between Sergeant Pope and Detective Hayes, which was the good cop and which was the bad cop when they talked to you?
Oh,
Detective
Jesus
Hayes was the
Christ.
good cop.
Do you remember Detective Hayes here?
I did not recognize him, but yeah.
I don't like the
This is
Pope.
relevant.
They're going
Are
to
you
his
married?
bias.
No, I am not.
Are you divorced?
Yes.
How long were you married for?
36 years.
Micro prosecutor.
When did that marriage end?
The divorce was final in
I love it.
2012.
Did your former wife work in the court system at all?
She did. She was a court reporter.
And how long did she do that?
Oh, God.
I think 32 years.
Did you have some idea from your family connections and from your former wife's job about the legal system or the legal community?
Probably not as much as you would think, because I was never involved in anything with going to court or anything like that.
No wonder this trial went
My
on for
grandfather
4
being
weeks.
the local police chief and the sheriff, I was single digits teenager when he did most of that. And then my wife, when she was a court reporter, my biggest job was delivering transcripts back to people.
Never thought you'd be in the middle of a murder trial testifying as a witness, did you?
Never in my entire life.
God's sake, get
You
on
want
with
to be
it.
here?
Not at all.
You understand why you're here, though, right?
I do.
Are you an outdoorsman?
I am.
Tell the jury what are your hobbies when it comes to hunting, fishing, things like that.
Hunting.
What type of hunting do you do?
Almost all is deer hunting, whitetail.
How avid of a hunter are you?
Some would say very.
Do you ever travel to other states to hunt?
I do.
We talked about Kansas.
Kansas, Colorado, Texas, Idaho, Montana, Canada, Mexico, more.
Sure. Where else have you traveled?
New Mexico, Florida, South Florida.
Mainly deer hunting.
Deer, elk, antelope, waterfowl, quail, dove.
Do you use firearms and a bow?
I do hunt with a bow some, yes.
Do you use one more than the other?
No, bow season for me is very short, and I don't use it a whole lot. But the rest of the time, I'm generally a muzzle loader and rifle hunter.
Do you have any experience
A
being connected to
Muslim
farm?
lover? Oh, loader.
My other grandfather, not the chief of police, my daddy's dad, they lived across the street from us. Or
My
he lived across the
daddy's
street from
dad?
them, however you want to look at it. And he had a, pardon me,
Yummy.
probably a couple 100-acre farm, ran about 80
Oh.
black Angus cows, and they had a little country store.
I always
Did you have a
pronounce
farm
that
at some
G.
point?
I did. I inherited my mother's farm and with my sister, and had it for a few years.
And how big was that?
115 acres.
What did the farm do? Produce anything, or was it animal farm or crops?
When my mom and her husband had it, they raised cows also. And then after my sister and I inherited it, I had one of the neighbors got to cut hay off of it. It was a hill farm, pretty steep hill. And the rest of the time it was just a place for me to go deer hunting.
Are you a person that can basically build a house from scratch?
No.
Do you have any skills in carpentry or anything like that?
In what?
Carpentry, building things?
Not very good at it. I would be more a framer than a finished carpenter.
Have you ever tried to build a house or add on to a house or doing construction?
My dad and I one time built a 20 by 20, we called it a barn, but it wasn't perfect.
How about farm equipment? What can you use?
The only thing that I ran down at the farm was a small Ford tractor.
Yeah. What size, do you remember?
We've established
Old
he's
type
more of a
tractor
man
or
than you
common-
are, buddy.
New tractor.
Yeah.
It was like
Wheels narrow up front or wide?
I'm sorry?
The wheels in the front, were they close together or wide?
You didn't run it close together. You didn't run a tricycle on a hill farm. So they were wide, yes. It was about a 95 model.
How about RTVs? You ever used an RTV, drive an RTV?
I have.
Do you own any?
I do not. I never have.
Any side-by-sides?
No.
Do you ever use those things during hunting?
No. Now when you're saying I have a four-wheeler,
Okay, let's talk about that. What type of four-wheeler do you have?
it's a 1997 model Honda 200.
Do you take that hunting with you?
I have, but not in several years.
Anytime that you're hunting, do you ever use a four-wheeler or something like that to move deer?
Yes, I have tied a deer to the back of the four-wheeler and drug it
You said tied. How do you tie it?
just with a rope to the luggage rack.
Nothing fancy, something simple just to move it?
Yeah.
What is this? 50 Shades of Grey meets
Do you have
bestiality?
a truck? What kind of truck do you have?
Ford F-150.
Do you have a motorcycle?
I do.
What type of motorcycle do you have?
I have a Harley,
He's got a
What
Harley.
model is it? Which model is it?
a Road King,
How long have you been riding motorcycles?
all my life.
Something you like to
Since
do?
I was 14, I should say. That's
Does
when
it
I
have
got my life.
tricycle? Does it have training
that
wheels
something
like
you
my
like to
do?
my,
It is,
my bike?
not as much so in the last few years.
Do you own any guns?
Oh yeah.
I own a bunch of guns.
What a bunch
Tell
of
the jury, if
guns.
you would, what type of guns that you have? Is the list too long? I think as you were saying, you said to law enforcement.
Okay, I was going to say, can you say that? Yes.
Yes,
The
you
list
can.
is too long.
I think
Oh,
law
yeah,
enforcement asks about
buddy.
guns.
I couldn't even rattle them all off if you wanted me to, but I could tell you a good number of them.
Roughly about how many do you have?
That's
I
personal.
probably have 40.
And out of the 40, how many of those are handguns?
Hey, Dave.
Hey,
Probably
buddy.
6, 8, maybe. 10, I don't know.
This
Do you ever
dude's
talk to the
pretty
defendant
hot
about how
for a
sometimes
white old
bullets and guns
dude.
are tested?
Say again.
Do you ever talk to the defendant about have conversations about how guns and bullets are tested?
Not that I recall.
You
I just
never
told
do
her
that?
I was firing blanks
Where were your guns in 2018? Where were your guns?
when she tried to
stored?
make me wear a rubber.
They would have been in a storage building in my gun safes, except for the one or two that might have been in my pickup truck.
When law enforcement came and talked to you about this case, they
What's wrong
ask you
with
where your
me?
guns were?
To the best of my recollection, yes, they did.
I mean, they were interested in your guns, were they not?
They were.
And they asked
Oh,
you
they
where
were.
your guns were at?
I don't remember them asking them about being in the storage building in a gun safe, but I think they just asked me what I had and if I had any, I guess basically with me. And I told them that I didn't have any on my person, but that I had, I think, a couple in my truck.
You had 2 in your truck, I believe. Is that right?
I think that's right, yes.
357 revolver and a 40 caliber.
Dave, I am avoiding those transcripts right now, mate. It's just too much bullshit in them. Mate, so this is Rusty, and he was the supposed secret lover that everyone knew about, that Melody was shagging. Ever since they were teenagers, apparently, like well before she was even married, like she knew him all the way back. So they've been shagging forever. But he was shagging a bunch of other people. He got married, she got married. So yeah, they've been at it for years, like bunny rabbits.
Okay, so they did the. Okay, so they lost it on prom night. Got it.
I don't know if they like he took a cherry or whatever, but like they've been hiding the sausage for a really long time. And everyone knew about Rusty. It was no big secret. But yeah, like the reason we're jumping to this testimony, we've jumped 3 days ahead and we're watching this testimony because apparently the juror and a bunch of other people say that the jail calls between her and him are the thing that was like nail in the coffin. She guilty, and she a narcissist. All because of him. So, and the prosecutor is all like buddying up with him. He's state witness. Oh, sure, he's really innocent, and you love the police, don't you? You love them. You love them. The prosecutor, meanwhile, is about the size of his big toe. Yeah, that's being generous. Anyway, good to see you, Deep. Let's keep going.
Law.
Yes,
Did you voluntarily turn
Is he
over
Scott's
the,
dad?
or give the
No, I
357
don't
to
think
law
so.
enforcement in this case?
I did.
Scott looks just like Big Dad.
Did you know that gun was tested or looked at by the GBI?
I didn't know that, but I kind of figured it was. That's why
He
they got it.
plows Melody.
Do you remember telling law enforcement about how many people knew where your guns were at?
I'm sorry.
Do you remember saying only 2 people remembered or knew where your guns were at? Yourself and I believe your daughter?
I don't remember saying that, no, sir.
Were they kept somewhere else besides your house?
Yes. Yeah,
Tell the jury about that.
I did not keep any. I lived at my daughter's house at the time. I was in between houses, and I did not keep any guns in the house because her husband was not a gun person and was fearful of them. And so I kept them, and I had 3 gun safes, still do, and I kept them in a storage building, I don't know, a few miles down the road. And so all the guns were in there except, I guess, those 2 at the time that were in a bag in the kind of the back floorboard of my truck.
Do you remember when law enforcement came up and executed a search warrant to look at your guns?
Actually, I don't think they had a search warrant. They did for the house, and I guess they were looking for guns.
That's fine. Do you remember them coming up looking for your guns?
Yes, I do.
Hey, do you know this guy was in the movie Airplane? Peter
Now,
Graves?
you're junior, Roy Barton Jr., is that right?
That's correct.
Your dad is senior?
Yes.
And,
Doesn't he look
sorry,
like
I know
Peter
he's passed
Graves?
away. I'm not trying to go down that
Looks like
route,
who?
but did he
Peter
have-
Graves?
Oh, as in, hang on, Peter Graves is who? Which
The
one was
actor?
he? Which one was he in?
The pilot.
Airplane. Oh, as in Roger Over Under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever seen a
Clear-
grown man naked?
Clarence.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah, the silver fox.
Yeah, kinda. When you said that, I thought you were gonna say like, surely you can't be serious, which is Liam. What's his name? Ollie. Who was he? He was in lots of stupid comedy movies. Michael Graves' dad. You know, surely you can't be serious. I am, but don't call
Don't
me
call me
Shirley.
Shirley.
Yeah, Liam Nelson.
Liam Nelson? Nielsen?
Yeah, Nielsen.
Oh, yeah,
That
Dr. Rumock. Or Leslie
Yeah.
Nielsen?
Leslie Nielsen. Sorry, I'm not
Okay,
very
yeah,
good with
the
actors'
comedian,
names.
yeah.
Clearly. Yeah, actually, I'm terrible with actors' names. I couldn't give a shit about actors. Yeah. Yeah. Hang on, bring it back.
Oh. Carry
Thank
on.
you. Carry on now.
He had several. Most of them had been rolled down to me at this point.
Do you have pistols?
I think he had 3.
Were any of those a 38 special?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you know where those guns were at in 2018?
I do not.
Do you remember telling law enforcement that they were in Martha Jane's house?
Well, that, yes. I thought you meant like specifically in the house. No, they would have been there at Martha's house. Yeah.
Wherever they were at in the house, is that right?
Oh,
But you don't know exactly what pistols he had, is that fair?
thank you.
He had a Colt Python, 357. He had a Browning 22.
I'll talk about that in a
I think
minute.
They called it a target pistol. And
Oh, is that
then
coming
he
up?
had gotten Martha Jane a pistol, and I really don't know what it was.
Had a 357?
I do not know.
I want to talk about Martha Jane. Who is Martha Jane Barton?
She is or was my dad's wife, second wife.
Sean, so the mushroom lady, as in Erin Patterson from Melbourne, or Victoria here, she's the lady who cooked a lovely lunch, really, for her in-laws and her husband, or ex-husband, I think, can't remember. And, well, sure, it's ex-husband now. And they died.
Aw.
Yes, from poisoning from the said mushrooms. And I'm sure she meant no harm at all. And anyway, she's been done for murder and attempted murder because apparently she also cooked something for the husband a while earlier, like I think 11 months earlier, and he got quite sick from that too. But I'm sure she meant no harm at
So she
all.
did do it? I thought she pled out, or it.
No. She did nothing. She's pleading not guilty.
Okay.
Presumption of innocence, Ilya.
No, I understand that. I just thought it. I didn't know it was going to trial.
It's going to trial in April. And I might have someone who's going to be in the courtroom.
Really?
Because here in Australia, there are no... Well, there's
Yeah.
cameras, but we have no access to the cameras.
Yeah.
There's really good cameras, actually.
Well, we don't have to worry about anyone stealing our court reporters anymore, so.
No, we don't.
So that's pretty. That's a cool scoop you can get now,
Yes,
and we can actually capitalize
Yeah.
off it.
I know. And, this has gotten, international attention ever since it happened. So the
Yeah.
mushroom lady, Erin Patterson, this channel, guys, we're going to have coverage of it starting April. So, yes, getting my mushrooms ready for the Erin Patterson trial. Australian trial right here.
Any relation
Right
to Richard
here.
Patterson?
No, no relationships to Dick Patterson, no.
Oh, that guy's the best.
Yay. The
That
lady
would
who
help.
fed, yes, she fed mushrooms to her lunchroom. Well, it was a mushroom pie, beef and mushroom pie.
No, I think it was beef Wellington.
No, it wasn't beef and mushroom pie.
Really?
Yes.
The article
Look
I
it
just-
up. Yep.
Eric Patterson. Wait.
Hey, Rachel. Yes, and she scraped off the
No.
mushrooms and had some herself. Poison doesn't work that way. Well, she made a separate pie for her children because they don't eat mushrooms. I don't find that weird.
No, I don't.
I make different food for my kid because she won't eat some vegetables and stuff. But I'm I am reserving judgment, everybody,
So this
as
woman,
I do.
right?
Hang on, who?
Is it shown?
Go down.
Aaron Patterson,
Well, I mean-
49.
Yeah, she'd be 49. Yeah.
Because it
We sh-
says she's accused of murdering three guests who attended lunch at her Leongatha property in 2023. Don
That's
and
it.
Gail Patterson, the parents of her estranged husband, Simone Patterson,
Yep.
along with his aunt, Heather Wilkinson. Patterson served beef Wellington, a dish containing mushrooms.
They said it was a pie. They've said it was a pie all along. Okay, they changed it.
I mean,
That's news then, because it's always said a pie.
Yeah.
Is beef Wellington a pie? Not is that a pie?
it's like beef with bread.
Yeah, I thought that was what it was, like bread covered.
Yeah, Uncivil Law likes to make beef Wellington. He's done some
Is
members
he?
only streams doing it. Yeah, he's got some good recipes. I should suggest he get some mushrooms.
Mavka, I'll show you her on a different stream. So I have footage of her evading the police and not evading the police, evading the media because the media came after her and she actually spoke to the media stupidly, and then Dr. G, who is like a body language expert, he's an idiot.
The real deal.
Yeah, he was the real deal. Goes, oh, she's not really crying. Oh, she looks so guilty.
I can never find him though. Get it?
So she does not sneak veggies in, right? No.
No
No,
worries,
no,
Sean.
it's fine, Sean. Actually, I'm meant to talk about it sometime soon.
This is like our easy laid back stream. So
This is the stream where, no one's watching. We've hardly got anyone here. We've got the regulars here. We're just having some fun.
yeah,
Why not?
no, that's interesting. I actually did not know that was going forward. I thought they decided not to charge her or whatever.
No, they're going after her. Not only are they going after her, they're going after her with another charge of attempted murder from previously as well.
Jeez,
Yeah, they're going right after her.
boy.
Yep. Yeah, it's just some creepy folktale situation. Hey, how are you, Sarita? MBL Blazy, how are you? All right, let's keep going.
Should have done antifreeze.
Yeah.
Stepmother,
Yes,
what year did they get married or come together?
Crazy Australian.
1975,
She looked
And how long were
guilty
they
from
married?
day one.
until he passed away in
Guilty.
2014.
And a
How we got
narcissist.
mushrooms.
In 1975 from 2014, where did they live?
I like your picture.
They lived in the house that I was raised in with my mom and dad on Avoca Road.
Mushrooms.
And then
Mushroom
a few
picture.
years after they got married, they built a new house on what's Carter Blake Road and that's Martha still lives there.
How old is Martha today?
I think she's 83.
How would you describe Martha?
Old.
A good woman, worked at the bank for 53 years, I think. She's in very poor health now.
Aw.
She's had all kinds of procedures and heart valve replacements.
She's had heart issues.
Yes.
Doesn't do well with stress.
No.
And
So you interrogating her didn't help.
but in Tullahoma today, she lives still in the house.
Yeah, she still lives in the house by herself.
Now help explain to the jury the relationship between Martha Jane. Sometimes y'all refer to her as MJ. Is that right?
That's correct.
So the relationship between Martha Jane and the defendant.
Martha and Melody's mom were first cousins.
Oh.
So the defendant would be second cousins to Martha,
I don't really know how all that.
one level down.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're
related-
saying they can date.
So related by blood, but referred to as cousins. Is that?
Yes,
And you would be the stepson of Martha Jane.
correct.
When it describe to the jury the relationship through the years and how close they were, the defendant and Martha Jane.
I mean, first cousins. That's
Very
weird.
close. My dad, when he was alive, he was not much of anybody of a man that wanted to drive. Martha always drove, so anytime Martha needed to go, basically
Is he
anywhere,
related to Good
which
Logic?
most of the time was to go to Nashville to the heart doctor. Melody would come up and get Martha and then drive her to Nashville to the doctor, and did that off and on for years.
Would you describe the defendant's relationship with Martha Jane more akin to a mother-daughter?
Very much so.
If you could say who does the defendant love the most in the world, where would Martha Jane be on that?
Very high on that list.
Oh.
Definitely above her husband.
Would you describe Martha Jane as a God-fearing lady?
I didn't understand.
Would you describe Martha Jane as a God-fearing lady?
Very much so.
A Christian?
Yes.
She didn't know about your sexual affair with the defendant, did she?
I don't think so.
Oh.
That broken her heart?
I don't know. Probably.
He would have made her
She didn't
jealous.
disappoint in you?
Yes.
So hang on a
The
minute.
two of you hid it from her, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh, she's getting emotional.
Through the years, how often?
Okay, hang on a minute. So Martha Jane is the stepmother of him. Is that right? His dad's second wife, he said.
Yeah.
Right? She lives nearby,
Yeah.
and she can she is like a mother to the defendant. Let's get this straight. She's 83,
Okay.
so she's only 10 years older than Rusty.
and the
So
defendant.
no, she's only 10 years older than Rusty.
Yeah.
Right? And so his dad was a bit of a player too, right?
Damn straight.
Damn straight, right? He had a younger,
Yeah.
yeah. So his second wife, Martha Jane, only 10 years older than Rusty, and she lives nearby, and she considered, and like her and the defendant, Melody, they're like super close, but Martha Jane didn't know that they were shagging. Right? Did not know. They kept it from her all those years. So she must have thought they were just besties or something.
Yeah.
That's a bit stupid. Okay. So just getting that straight, because I'm pretty sure Martha Jane is going to testify soonish, and that's going to be kind of important. All right. So
Often
cool.
would the defendant come and see Martha Jane?
Are you talking like 30 years ago up to now or then?
Yeah, what I want you to do is to explain to the jury, some relatives see each other once a year at family reunions. Some relatives
Right.
never see each other for
I'd
5
like
years.
you
Some
to
relatives
explain
never
the
see each other at all.
relevance.
How often would the defendant come up and physically be involved in Martha Jane's life?
That I do not know, because I didn't always know even when she would come up. I mean, she would come up and do things, and and I wouldn't know it.
Would it be more than occasional?
Yes, I would think so.
So a common event for the defendant?
I would think so.
A lot, I guess is another way to say it.
That's a relative question, so I don't know. Again, I didn't know every time that she came up through the years. Sometimes it might be weeks later. My dad would say that Melody had been up.
When they would see each other, would the defendant come to Martha Jane's house or home?
Yes,
And would she be family and have access to the home?
yes,
Come and go as she please?
yes,
Full access to everywhere in the house?
yes,
Can even come to the house when Martha Jane's not there?
yes.
Especially when she wasn't there.
Oh yeah.
Did the defendant help Martha Jane with her property and things in her house?
She did.
want to talk to you about the defendant.
Oh yeah, baby.
You seen Melody
go.
Farris here in court today.
I do.
She looks
Describe
hot.
something she's wearing and point her out for the record, please.
Glasses on top of her head, gray jacket, black top.
Just point to where she's at, please. Now let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant. Is it awkward being here in court in front of her?
It's awkward being in court, period. So yes.
This is going great.
When it comes to your feelings for the defendant at this moment, how much love do you have for her?
Don't know that that's a measurable item.
That's what you have to do in court, sir. Tell me how much love you have for her right at the moment.
No, this was this trial,
You love her.
Irish.
I do not know.
I don't know when that was.
But you did love her in the past, correct?
Correct.
You were in love with her, fair to say?
Yes.
And she
Oh,
in
that was
love with
the
you,
old
fair to say?
woman.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the old woman.
Oh, we're gonna have to play her testimony.
Yeah.
Now, you've had an opportunity to listen to some of your recordings in this case. Is that true?
I have.
And you know that there are recorded jail calls and other calls with you and the defendant.
Yes.
Can you tell the jury?
Okay.
Did y'all have a special?
Apparently, he winks at her at some point.
Aw.
So I know. So we're gonna have to watch out for that. Just saying.
What kind of words or codes or terms of endearment that you would use with each other?
I can't tell you that.
I'm assuming that you're thinking about some of them. Yeah, we did.
Like what were some of those phrases y'all would share all the time on the phone or when you talk?
One of
Okay.
them would be all.
ALL, all,
Yes.
right?
Hottie
What does that
biscotti.
mean? At the time when you were still together,
Yes, yeah.
are you telling the jury today that y'all are not together, right?
Correct.
At the time, even after the arrest, when you were still together, what did all mean?
It meant, and it kind of started back when Dad got sick and Martha was having the heart surgery. You know, don't know what we would have done without Melody being up there taking care of Martha, and I was having to take care of Dad. And so we talked most of the time. We talked several times every day, and it was okay. We got this. Get started. Do the day. You know.
To encourage one another, maybe?
Yeah, just okay. You take care of this. I'll take care of that, and we get through the day.
Would all that would that encapsulate for better or for worse?
No,
It wouldn't.
no, it was not a. I wouldn't put it as an emotional love you kind of thing. It was a let's go tackle the day kind of thing.
But you would say that to her, and she would say that to you during this investigation and after the arrest. Is that true?
It is.
So it applied to this situation.
It means just handle the day. Do what's got to be done.
So my question
be
is,
strong.
my question is, yes or no? It does apply to her murder charges.
Huh?
I think it applies to the whole thing. I wouldn't say specifically the charges.
What are
Her
you
situation
talking about?
in 2018,
Yes.
2019.
The situation.
When she's been arrested for murder, y'all are saying all to each other, right?
Correct.
How about, did you ever say the word forward? Tell the jury what forward would mean when you would say it to women.
Forward is a very similar thing to all. It just keep moving forward, keep going, get things done. Handle what life throws at you.
How about,
Okay.
would she ever say she wants your hand on her waist?
She did.
What does that mean?
Rather in my
At
pocket.
my father's funeral, she came up and we were standing by the casket, and everybody comes by and you hug and thank them and all that. And we were just standing there, and I put my
Gave
hand
me
on
a
her
mouth
waist.
hug.
It was kind of it was a strength for me to get through the day.
And she has said that to you after being arrested for murder. Is that accurate? What age did you meet the defendant? How old was she?
The first time I met her,
I think you met her when she was 15,
that would probably be about right.
Oh, baby.
1975.
Correct.
Where did y'all meet?
At Dad and Martha's wedding.
Really? And
Lyndon B.
What did you think of her when she was
Johnson was
15?
I
president
don't even
then.
remember.
do you remember when her and Gary got together? Because they got together young, I believe.
His daughter was a
So
pothead.
at 15, how close were you with her during her teenage years and early years?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Just kind of knew of her? You just knew of her?
Yes.
How often would you see her? I'm going to get to 2014, but before then, how often would you see her?
Rarely. Very rarely.
I'd stick it in and then she'd go away and
How smart is the defendant?
I don't know.
Is she smart or not smart?
Well, I would consider her smart, yes.
Would
they get in
her
trouble.
hardworking?
Yeah, very.
She didn't suffer a slacker, did she? She didn't like lazy people.
She was not a slacker, no.
She didn't like lazy people, did she?
No.
Stop bringing. Oh, I thought I was gonna.
Would you describe her as a?
stop bringing
Take
Scott into it.
Yes.
Thought I was gonna bring race into it.
Would you describe her as a person that gets things done?
He's old.
Yes.
In fact, that's what you told law enforcement, right?
I'm assuming I did, or you would have asked.
Is she a planner? Someone who makes plans?
I would say yes.
Guilty.
Yeah, God, that's it.
Does she have a
guilty.
backbone?
What?
We all have backbone, sir.
Except you.
In fact,
Well, you're
in-
just smaller
I
than
believe in
others.
2014 you first talked about it. How much did she help with Martha Jane and your father during that time?
Oh, she was an absolute tremendous help. I don't know what we would have done without her. One time she was up, and of course, Dad and Martha both. I mean, Dad had a stroke, went in the hospital, then went in the nursing home, and he never came home. And Martha, then during that period of time, had tests and then heart valve replacement. And one of the things that happened was the sewer system backed up and flooded the house, and she met with the septic tank people to get it cleaned out. So,
She gets things done, doesn't she?
yes,
That really
She gets her
turned me
hands dirty, doesn't
on.
she?
yes.
All right, let's look at March of 2014. Why is that month and year significant in the context of you and the defendant?
Say it again.
March 2014.
That probably would be when Dad went in the hospital. I didn't remember that month.
Okay, and that's when the defendant came up to Tennessee, is that right?
Yes. She was already there, actually, when Dad had his stroke. Her and Martha were, at the time, were already in Nashville at the doctor's office.
And then, kind of later on, a couple months later, I think it was in September 2014, was it not, that things changed between friendship to romance?
I do not recall. The,
Oh, please.
not even
No.
Do you recall the year? Was it in 2014?
Yes.
Tell the jury how that happened. What was going on?
We were just in close contact with each other, almost day in, day out, trying to handle everything, and it became, we became a thing.
So your relationship with her started in 2014.
Yes,
Did you know she was married?
I did.
Did you know she was married to Gary?
I did.
I read on Reddit that
And-
it happened like back
I'm not
in
asking for details or anything, but you two were intimate during this relationship?
We were.
when they were
So you
super
would know whether or
young.
not she has any tattoos on her?
I would.
So maybe that was in the
Tell the
jail
jury what tattoos
calls.
She has a red heart and the Roman numerals XO.
XO
She has a
tattoos
tramp
on her,
stamp.
right?
Yes.
And those tattoos represent
On her
you,
what?
do they not?
No, they do not.
They don't?
No, sir, they do not.
Go back.
Who do they represent?
Wait.
But
What
you
did
were
he
with her
say
when she
there?
got those tattoos, right?
I was.
And any tattoos on her?
I would.
Tell the jury what tattoos she has.
She has a red heart and the Roman numerals XO.
XO tattoos on her, right?
Yes.
And those tattoos represent you, do
Oh,
they
I
not?
didn't say.
No, they do not.
They don't?
No, sir, they do not.
Who do they represent?
They do not represent anybody.
But you were with her when she got those tattoos, right?
I was.
And y'all went to the tattoo parlor shop together and got them?
We did.
So you were there when she got them?
Correct.
And y'all both like to drink Crown Royal, is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah,
And so
me too.
you're with her when she gets the tattoos, then she gets the tattoos, and it's both of the drinks that you like, is that right?
Yes, the XO is for the Crown Royal XO. That's,
How about her phone having XO in it for you?
Oh
You
my
know anything about
God.
that?
now I didn't know that.
She
You
is
know if
white
she's ever referred
trash.
to you or the number for you as being XO?
I do not recall that.
You didn't know that? Or
Now I know it's a tramp stamp.
I do not recall that, so I don't know whether it.
How far? I thought it was longer too because, and maybe it was testified by somebody else that they were actually carrying on for longer. Maybe he's lying. So, yeah. So 2014 doesn't sound right to me. So it's like lots of people have said in places that they were carrying on for like well before that she was even married. So that's brand new to me, the 2014 thing. So I don't know. Maybe it comes out on cross. I don't know.
How many times
Hey,
do you
Cindy.
think you and the defendant, and again, I'm not trying to get into the list of details or anything like that, but you two would rendezvous at a certain place, is that right?
Yes.
What city would you both meet up at?
Dalton, Georgia.
And Dalton was about 106 miles from Tullahoma, your home, is that right?
Yes.
Takes about an hour and 45 minutes to get there.
Roughly, yes.
Do you know it's about 80 miles from her former home in Cherokee County?
I just kind of figured it was about halfway.
Takes about an hour and a half from her house to get there, is that right?
That I don't know.
But I guess the point is why y'all were meeting Dalton is because it was halfway between the houses.
Right.
And when you met in Dalton, there's a certain exit that you would meet at.
Correct.
What exit was that?
333.
333. What hotels would you stay at there?
Mostly the Super 8.
How many years were y'all meeting up there? From 2014 to 2018?
Yes.
Who would pay for the room for y'all two?
I would.
Always?
Oh,
Why is
gentlemen.
that?
Just what I do.
Explain that to me. Why?
Jesus,
Love paying
dude.
pay for things.
It's the right thing to
In the beginning, I
do.
think, did y'all meet there monthly?
Oh, I don't remember how often we ended that. I'm
But
sure
it-
there's records, but I don't.
Did it progress to meeting weekly?
At times.
Did you meet more than one time during the week?
It's possible that we did. I do not recall that we did, but I'm.
You wouldn't dispute if
No.
that was the
no,
case?
No, again, I know there's records, so.
Did you ever ask her when y'all were meeting up, what is she telling her family why she's not there? Did you ever ask her?
I don't think so.
You never asked her what excuse or what are you telling them when you're coming to meet me? You never got curious to ask her how she's doing this?
No, I didn't ask her about her husband very often, sir.
Not one time?
No. I'm trying to think how to say it. She could go and come as she pleased, and she was very
So she did.
leave home and be gone and come back. Nobody get tabs on her.
She wasn't a prisoner at home, is what you're saying.
Not at all.
What?
My question though is, if you're meeting weekly and you're having an affair, are you not worried about her husband going, where's my wife? Did that not ever pop up or y'all talk about it?
No, it didn't. I guess we did talk about it, but I think she got to do her thing and he did his thing, and I don't think they just didn't keep tabs on each other.
Right, but you're not trying to tell this jury that y'all were having an open relationship.
And I guess I'm saying that they did
Based on what?
what she said.
What she says?
Yes.
So were y'all open at the wedding, Emily's wedding, going around openly engaging in a romantic relationship at Emily's wedding? Is that what you're telling the jury?
I don't recall us being very openly romantic at the.
Right, that's the point. You weren't, correct?
I don't think so. I mean, we might have said
Would've
the same
been
thing both times, and
rude.
we might have danced together, but I wouldn't call us. I did that with other people there too.
Sure. My question is, you weren't being openly romantic in front of her family at Emily's wedding, were you?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Sir.
That's because y'all were hiding the relationship, right?
Yes.
Now, you had a girlfriend named Christina Grant, I think in 2017. Is that right?
I did.
Yeah, I did.
And you were hiding the relationship that you had with Melody from her,
Correct.
and she did something that you did not want her to do. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Tell the jury what she did.
She sent an email to Gary Farris, Melody's husband, telling him, I don't know exactly what it said because I never saw it, but telling him that Melody was having an affair with me or vice versa, however it was worded.
I think that was in October of 2017. Would that be?
Yes, I think that's correct.
Now you just said on the stand that you never saw the email, but did you not see an email, a copy of the email that the defendant took on her phone from Gary's phone?
I could have, but I do not recall seeing it.
Judge, you might just have one more.
So I said this dude's a stud.
But you did talk to Christina about the email she sent.
I did.
Yeah, it's a
What did you tell her to
polycule.
do?
I don't remember what I told her to do. I just told her that what she had done was pretty stupid and she shouldn't have done that.
Ooh.
Shouldn't have
Did you not
done
tell her
He
that to
just
tell
did
Gary
a
it was
lot.
just a rumor? You remember telling Christina to get back in contact with Gary and let him know that it was just a rumor because he's a lawyer, he would understand a rumor.
I do not recall that, no, sir.
Were you concerned that because Gary was an attorney that he could drag her information and her lifestyle into a court?
Huh?
Do you recall telling Christina that he could bring you in and ask you about your sexual partners or things like that?
Ooh.
No, we
Again.
You remember telling
can't.
Christina that you were concerned that Gary could bring her in and ask her about her relationships with other people?
I do not recall that, but I could understand that I might have said that.
That's a stupid thing to say.
Do you remember what happened with the defendant when Gary got that information from Christina? What did she say to you?
What did Melody say to me?
Yes.
That Gary came into her room and told her that he had gotten that email.
And how did she feel about that? How did the defendant feel about Gary finding out from Christina?
I think she was just upset because Christina had done that.
Mad at Christina?
Yes.
Mad at you?
I don't think so.
She's very forgiving towards you?
I don't think at that point I'd done anything wrong.
When you would, through the years, communicate with the defendant, would you talk to her in person? Would you meet her face to face? We know about going up to hotels and meeting in Dalton, but outside of that, would you ever just go and do things with her, go out to eat or do other things?
Yeah, sometimes when she would come to town, we would go somewhere and eat or something.
And when you would talk to her, how many times a day, tell the jury, how many times a day would you talk to her on the phone, whether it's by voice or by text messages?
Off and on all day.
Almost every day?
Almost every day.
What was your pattern? What time of the day would y'all talk and how would you do it?
Well, I didn't know there was a pattern. It was just random phone calls and random texts. I don't think there was a pattern.
Would you get up in the morning and call her?
Probably.
Would you call her through the day? Would you call her in the evenings?
Or
So-
she would call me or whatever. Yeah.
So, once you get up in the morning, would she be the first one you would call?
Not necessarily. I don't
Normally?
know. I don't know.
Depends what you
I don't
mean
know.
by
Would
get
she be
up.
one of the first persons you would call?
Probably.
And during the day, how many times do you think you would call her during the day every day?
I cannot answer that question. I mean, I'm sure you have records and could tell every specification there is about it, but I couldn't answer that.
Was it less than 5 times or more than 5 times?
I'm sure it varied. I'm sure it was both.
And what things would y'all talk about?
Everything
This is
from
relevant.
the weather to the kids to the grandkids to Martha, Daddy. I mean, just life.
Now, I'm going to talk to you about July 10th of 2018. Do you remember when you had another interview with the sheriff's office and some people from the TBI?
On July the 10th?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Do you remember July 2018
I
speaking
do.
with law enforcement?
I do, yeah.
Was there a time that when you were speaking to law enforcement that the defendant just kind of unannounced showed up?
She came into town, if that's what you're asking.
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, yes.
Tell the jury about the time she came into town when law enforcement was there.
I think that we had my attorney and myself had an interview with Detective Hayes, and I'm assuming since you said it that way that was the day that the TBI was there too. And I think after that meeting, when my attorney's office was downtown Oklahoma, so after that I left and went to Martha's house to check on her, see how she was doing, and then on my way back to town, I noticed that Melody was behind me,
What vehicle was she in?
the Mercedes.
She had not told you she was coming up, correct?
Correct.
It was a surprise, right?
Yes.
Unannounced, would you say?
Yes.
And she was there because of what?
I guess because I was with the police.
What did she ask you?
What did they say?
What did you tell her?
I'm assuming whatever they said. I don't remember what conversations we had.
What else did she say to you?
Don't remember exactly, but I would say, why are you here?
And did she give you any instructions or anything to say or not say to them?
No,
Did she tell you not to talk to law enforcement?
probably. I don't remember that for a fact, but
But has she told you through this case not to talk to law enforcement?
yes. No, not to talk to them, but I mean, I'm not going to run and hide, but just don't sit down and have a conversation with them. Be polite.
So you're saying she did not tell you to stop talking to law enforcement?
Okay, there's talking to somebody, and then there's telling them, answering questions, and I think that's what was meant.
So tell me that. You're telling me that she told you not to answer questions of law enforcement.
That was my assumption of what it meant, yes.
She didn't want you to give law enforcement anything that could be used against her, right?
Fair.
You don't want nothing to be used against.
Because he can answer. He's not speculating. He talked to her in face-to-face conversations.
He doesn't know what she was thinking, so he can answer what she said and maybe how he interpreted it.
Go ahead and answer the question.
Sir?
You can answer the question. Did she talk to you and tell you not to talk to law enforcement because they were trying to get information on her?
I don't think it was spread out verbatim like that. It was just, don't talk.
I mean, it wasn't about anything else except the murder case, right?
Correct.
There's no other reason you're talking to law enforcement, is there?
No.
This is really slimy.
Gary was found.
I don't
July
like
5th,
this line of
2018.
questioning.
There's a calendar right there.
I really don't like this line of questioning, right? So he's trying to make it look like she's guilty because she's speaking to her beau, her friend, whoever he is, and saying you shouldn't could you please not talk to law enforcement, right? He doesn't have to talk to law enforcement. He could be under investigation too, right? So he absolutely, he could be charged too. There is no question about him potentially being charged too. He could be a conspirator, even if he weren't at the property at the time. He absolutely could be putting himself in harm's way by speaking to the police, right? So her saying to him, don't talk to the cops, is smart advice.
Yeah.
There's nothing shady about that whatsoever. He's making it sound shady. So that should be objectionable, I feel. But anyway, I don't like it. I don't like the line of questioning.
You see that Thursday, July 5th, 2018?
I do.
And almost a year later,
Hey,
on
maybe.
June 18, 2019, the defendant was arrested. And you know that, don't you?
I do.
How do you know that?
I'm the one that carried her to the police station, turned her over to the police.
Because she was staying with you in Oklahoma?
No, she was not staying with me. We were together, having lunch.
Physically present with her that day, right?
Sir?
You were physically with her that day?
I was, that afternoon, yeah.
She was in your vehicle?
She was.
And y'all had been together for how many days?
We had not been together for days. We had just left that afternoon to go We were going to go have something.
It was just a booty call.
Go someplace else, like Franklin or something.
So you're trying to say you were not socializing or hanging out or being together as a couple during this time?
Well, we were going to go have lunch, a late lunch, so I would, however you want to word that, yes.
How many
Slept
days was she
in.
there before she got arrested?
Several.
How many? Several. Were we talking days or
Week.
weeks?
A week or 10 days.
And how many times out of the week or 10 days did you see her?
I do not recall.
Just can't get
Probably every
over
day,
this
wasn't it?
man.
I wouldn't think so.
The day of the arrest, you actually, when she was in the car, you brought her to the police department, I believe.
I did.
And then after she was arrested, you talked to her on the phone numerous times. Is that right?
What time frame were we talking about?
In June and July and other dates after she was
yes.
arrested?
Yep.
Now, I want to go from, how many times do you think you talked to her by phone? Let's go from July 4th of 2018, the 4th of July to, let's just go after the arrest, October 31st of 2019. So from 4th of July in 2018 to Halloween in
Orphan
2019.
buddies.
How many times do you think you talked to her on the phone? There's roughly 484 days during that time period. How many times do you think you talked to her on the phone?
A lot.
What is a lot?
I don't know. You have the number, I don't.
More than the number of days?
I'm sure.
How many text messages do you think you shared with her during that time?
You have the numbers, I do not.
How many times do you think you said, I love you, or something all or for to her during that time?
He's making it sound like it's terrible.
Because you were there to help her, right?
They're grown
You loved
adults.
her, right?
Yes.
You were supporting her, right?
I was.
You're going to do what you can to help her out of this fix, right?
I was.
In 2018, when they talked to you about the case, the first time that law enforcement talked to you, I think it was the TBI that came out on July 6th. That was a Friday of 2018.
Correct?
Do you remember how many phones and phone numbers you told law enforcement that she had?
I do not.
Do you remember when you met with them again, changing that number and giving more information?
I do remember changing it. I don't remember what was said.
After the first interview, you gave information that she did have a burner phone. Is that right?
Oh, not a burner phone.
The terminology of burner
Oh.
phones. Burner phones were, I would call a straight talk, that you actually purchased the minutes for. So
Would it be fair to say that one of the phones she used almost exclusively for you,
I do not know that.
and the other phone she used for...
Why did the defense not object then? Objection! It was not a... He said burner phone, right? The defendant... Not the defendant. The witness never said burner phone. Right? You should not be... The prosecutor should not be able to use the term burner phone. Fucking objection. Right? Jury hears the term burner phone and they're like, oh, she guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty, guilty, guilty. Oh, burner phone, burner phone. Right? He never said burner phone. Her. Oh, it's out now. Toothpaste is out of the tube now. Done. Arr.
public or other people?
I assume that, yes, but I do not know.
Is the defense
Those
awake?
burner phones.
So her regular
Crying
phone
out
is-
loud.
Is that fair?
Say that again?
She has a regular phone, and then she had this other phone,
I think they were pretty well both identical. So.
but you didn't give law enforcement the other phone number the first time, right?
I don't know. I mean, I did not. I mean, I don't know the phone numbers. They were
Yes,
all in
Rachel.
my phones.
Now, at some point when you met with law enforcement during this, you and your attorney, Bobby Carter, met with them and cooperated. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then when you met with them, you actually agreed to record calls between you and the defendant. Is that right?
That is correct.
And they actually gave you a recorder to record calls. Is that correct?
They did.
And you would actually try to do that at certain points?
I tried.
You tried to record some calls with her. And that's
the
because
recorder, yes.
it was told to you, not only by your attorney, but during the conversations, that it's in your best interest to do that.
It
Yes.
happens.
And you want to help yourself. Is that true?
Absolutely.
But at some point, law enforcement had to come back to you and ask you about the recorder, didn't they?
They did.
And they had to ask you about the recorder because you actually told her about the recorder and recording the calls, right?
I did.
So let me get it straight. You want to help yourself because of the situation, and you agreed to record the phone calls with her, but you tell her you're recording the phone calls, right?
I did.
So she knew she was being recorded, is that correct?
Well, she
You
did.
sly fox.
I never was successful at
Yeah,
it.
she knew you were recording the calls, right?
I never was successful at it.
I understand that because you told her, but she knew she was being recorded, right?
I told her that I had a tape recorder that Detective Hayes gave me, and that I was told and asked to try to record our phone calls.
And in fact, there was a conversation between you two that she said, didn't you say they were recording calls? And you were telling her, no, you're lying to her.
That's right.
And then they gave you after they confronted you about the recorder, you weren't forthcoming to tell him, oh, by the way, I did tell her. You lied to him, didn't you?
I did.
You told me you weren't recording. You didn't tell her you had the recorder, right?
You're correct.
And then they had Calios, the software on your phone that would record calls without having a recorder. Would that be fair?
Yes.
And you recorded a lot of those calls, right?
The way I understood how this worked, they put something on my telephone, and I mean, it was very odd the way it came through, but it came through, and
Yep.
then I would answer the phone, but at the same time, every phone call that I got from her through this system, also went directly to Detective
them.
Hayes.
Right.
And then I'm assuming it was also recorded.
And counsel's going to ask you about those calls and what was recorded on those. But you agree with me that when they started doing the recordings on the Calios, that system, that was after you told her about the recorder, right?
Yep.
Yes, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so Scott, right? He was basically wiretapping the defendant, but he told her first.
Yeah.
So he said he'd help the cops out, right? And he would, tap the phone calls. But then he goes and tells Melody before, and he's like, oh, by the way, our phone calls are being recorded. And then he tells the cops that he didn't tell Melody.
Sly fox.
Right? And then he got found out.
Ah, you got me.
You don't like him anymore. I think it's hilarious. It was a boomer thing to do
It was.
because he got caught.
We went to that
Was
system
that
after
wrong?
we tried the detective work.
Oops.
Help me on this timeline. She's arrested
Gotta
June
plead
18,
ignorance on that
2019.
one.
His counter's not open. June 18, 2019. And then on June 25th, 2019, you come back to talk to law enforcement with your
But he
attorney
didn't
to
sell
get some
her
more
out. That's the
information, right?
thing, Mavka.
Okay, you lost.
Like
me.
he didn't sell her out because he told her, he warned her,
Yeah.
right? Like he told the cops he was doing one thing, but then he like, hey, guess by the way, we're being recorded.
Yeah.
Right. So he didn't sell her
wrong.
out at all.
No.
Yeah.
He was a
He
good
tried
dude.
to he tried to trick the cops, which so I'm kind of still on his side. But it was boomer because they found out.
Yeah. True love
Yeah.
still wins.
Yeah.
Again,
The last conversation you had with law enforcement, the last recording, you recanted the statement you given earlier.
that was not the last time that I was with law enforcement. That was the next to the last time, I think.
Okay. In June of 2019, after the defendant was arrested,
Right.
you did have a conversation with law enforcement. Is that correct?
Yes, I think they came back the next week.
Because he was part of
That next week, when you're talking to law enforcement, getting back to phones, did they not ask you if you ever met with the defendant in person and talked around the phones? Do you remember that?
I do.
And you told them, yes, we did meet in person and we did talk around the phones, right?
Correct.
So y'all were outside of law enforcement talking about the case, so they couldn't hear it. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just took one more step and they asked you, did you have new phones? I call them burners. You may not like that term, but they asked you if you had other phones. Is that true?
Yeah, it's a
And
misleading
they asked you, did
term.
you talk about
It's a
the case
misleading term.
outside of the other phones that we had that we can listen to? And you said, yeah.
Yes.
So is it not true that you were telling her the recording, I'm talking to them, don't say anything that can incriminate
No,
yourself?
that's not true.
It's not true.
I didn't say that. I
Not
never-
one time.
No, sir.
It wasn't even implied one time.
Nope.
So why are you having these other phones to talk outside of the phone calls?
I wanted to make her comfortable so I could find out if there was anything that wasn't known.
You want to make her comfortable. So you just had to go buy these other burner phones so law enforcement didn't know that y'all were talking?
Correct.
You agree that's suspicious, right?
Of course it is.
And you're doing it, correct?
I did.
With a woman charged with murder and burning her own husband, right?
I wanted to know.
But you didn't tell law enforcement until they pulled it out of you, right?
You're not going to put a banner up. I tried to find out. I wanted to know.
Oh.
I'm going to come back to some of these phone calls. But I want to talk about when you were... Let me try to step it back. Lower things just a little bit. You need restroom?
No, but I could use some water.
Oh, sure. Do we have...
Up here.
Get it, jockey.
It's empty.
Let me
Giddy
check.
up.
I got a lot of water.
I'd like to go bang the defendant now.
Yeah. Can we get a 5-minute coital break? And another 5 minutes to cuddle after. Thank you, sir.
All right, we're gonna finish off here for now. This is great. He completely admits, like he wanted to go talk to her, and he's saying that he wanted to find out, like, the truth behind the scenes, which I don't know whether that's true or not.
Yeah.
Right, but it's interesting because he's completely fucking up the prosecution because they were trying to paint him as being this
Schemer.
Well, no, at the beginning they were trying to make out like he was a very solid witness, weren't they? Because you trust law enforcement and you like law enforcement and
Well,
all this
some
kind of
law
stuff.
enforcement he doesn't like.
Yeah, at
One
the
of the cops
beginning,
was a dick.
that's true. And then he goes and turns around and he's like, oh, well, I really love her. And I went and told her about the wiretapping, and then there were burner phones. I reckon there was a motion in limine or a motion to I'd love to see all the motions to suppress prior. I'm pretty sure there would have been something prior to, for the defense would have put something forth prior about the word bona phone, and they would have lost it. Because otherwise there would be objections to the burner phone thing. That I don't think these lawyers are that stupid to let the prosecution just be talking about burner phones all over the place, unless it's already been allowed in. Like we found out last week when we saw the interview with the defense attorneys that there was a bunch of stuff that came in. Was the geofence stuff came in as they were going to trial, and more of it came in throughout the trial, and they objected, and it still came in anyway. So I feel like a lot of the things that we're not seeing objections to have been already ruled on.
Yeah.
But that said, like they're just being allowed to run rampant. There's just no objections. It's crazy. Ellie said we will record your calls without saying we are recording everything said in the home. So that's how they knew he told, right? What else did they bug? Yeah. He for sure like could have been done for conspiracy or something like that. She was right to tell him to not talk. Like all these people just talking to the cops all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. So stupid. Both Crumbly
Loose lips sink
attorneys
ships.
used burner phone on their own.
Oh yeah. Because when the Crumblies they were still in contact with their attorney, so they weren't like fleeing, but they left their house. So law enforcement acted like they were fleeing, and they had some burner phones because I forget the reason, but there was a legit reason for it.
For them fleeing?
No, well because they were getting death threats.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, guys. Not much going on out there, so we'll just finish up. Yes, we will. We'll just finish up. I think later on, Criminality might be doing some transcript readings, so I might pop over there. But I'm not sure. Yeah, she told me earlier she couldn't get onto Sleuthy and find out whether or not or what time she's doing it. So just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'll probably pop over onto there later. But guys, stay tuned. I'm going to be popping a video out later regarding further developments with the Snapchat pic of Abby. Something really interesting's come up, and it's kind of blown my mind. So keep your notifications out for that one. So the other thing that's interesting, a case that we have not looked at for a long time, and thank you to Dali and also Mavka for giving me the link. The Marcella Chidester case over in Michigan. She had a hearing the other day, and there's so much taint.
Yes.
Oh, taint. So remember Marcella Chidester? She's the one who just plowed right on in, and I mean plowed right on in to the, what is it? The
boat club, Swan.
The boat club, the Swan Boat Club in Monroe County in Michigan, mid last year, and really sadly cleaned up a children's birthday party, and 2 little kids were killed and lots of other injuries. She had quite a high blood alcohol level, but also she had this situation with her legs where they would spasm. And yeah, she's been done for 2 counts of murder. And it's a really sad case, but also a really interesting case, because the question is whether or not her legs actually spasmed, and that's the reason why she was straight down on the accelerator.
And there's also her blood alcohol level. Is it really as high as it was?
Yes.
Because the technician who like got her blood screwed up and didn't like shake the vial to preserve the blood properly.
Yep. So we're not exactly sure of what the blood alcohol level was, but the arguments so far have been really interesting. The defense attorney's not that bright, from what I can tell. He hasn't been writing his motions very carefully. But anyway, what's happening in court's really interesting. David was there for the previous hearing. He wasn't there for this one. He was away. But hoping that when it comes to trial, that we might be able to have somebody in court for that one. So that would be cool.
David, maybe, or someone else, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, we're gonna run that hearing and get some documents going and find out a little bit more about it, so we can do a stream on it maybe tomorrow or the day after. So stay tuned for that one. We have some gifted memberships. Thank you, Dolly. 1, 2, and 3, and we also have Sarita with $20. You'll give her a tip. Thank you so much. You know what I need to do now. You know what that means. I think I might have to do my crow impression. I think I might have to. Taint, one of the words right up there with my... Taint is my favorite word. Did you know that? Yes. I've even got... There's an emoji for taint. Yeah. Everything's tainted. Tainty, tainty, taint, taint, taint. Taint, 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 taint. Yes, indeed. Did I just see Miku in here? Is Miku here? Oh. Oh, how harsh. Taking my baby boy to a cat hotel is so scary, but I'm ready for 24/7 free alcohol, food, and sunshine. Where are you going, Miku? Where are you off to? Off for a holiday? Sweet. Oh, can't tune in for long. It's about time to take my old man, Zucchini the cat. Oh, Zucchini's a great name. To his cat hotel, but I wanted to say hi. Oh, that's really nice. In case you miss streams this next week. Oh, no problem. Yeah, watch out, Miku, because I was just saying I'm dropping a video in the next few hours about the Abby Snapchat photo. I've got something new to say about it. So, yeah, that's coming up. All right, ready? Hang on, I have to get this going in the back of my throat. It might not come out correctly at first.
Okay.
No.
Babu just looked at me like, what the fuck? We need David to clip that.
It's not bad, eh? I've been working on that for quite a while. Next time, it'll be my dolphin impression. And that's much harder on my throat, so... No, that's not good. Yeah, that was a crow. Yeah. Dali lives in Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for the super chats and things today. Much appreciated, because I'm super poor. And I must buy my new headphones. Otherwise, I'm going to tear these things out. They're driving me nuts. Yeah. That was a bad thing to say. Sorry. Yeah, cool. All right. Was there something you wanted to say, darling?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. All right, sweet. Guys, yeah, watch out because I'll put a video up later. Thank you everybody for your support, and this has been fun. And I love these chill streams; they're always good. Cool. All right, see you guys later. And time for the song. Time for the song. Time for the song.
Her name was Ella. She was an Aussie. She was a fake lawyer from the future. She got on YouTube and made some live streams. The co-host is Dolly and she dances sometimes. The words are always so loud and because she's an 803.